Good evening. It's been a long day at the polls, some rain, some sunshine, but a large turnout. Let's get right to the big contest of the night, the mayor's race. Now here are the results. Mayor Jean Stothert clearly will move on to the general election. RJ Neary has 16% of the vote, followed by Jasmine Harris with 11%. Kimra Snipes and Mark Gudgel are trailing. Now, reporter John Kipper is with Mayor Jean Stothart's campaign. And John, I'm sure the mayor and those in attendance are feeling pretty happy with the numbers right now.
Yeah, Maya, it is a party here in north central Omaha at campaign headquarters for Mary Jean Stothert. Going into this race, Stothert being the only Republican, being the only conservative in the race, it's no surprise that she was able to advance and even advance easily, but a 60% vote margin, as you saw those numbers just a little bit ago, over 40% more than any of her Democratic opponents, have people feeling really, really good here. Governor Dave Heineman, former governor, was speaking earlier and said that it just shows the quality of a candidate that Stothert is, that she's able to put up that kind of number in her third term. And a reminder, this would be an unprecedented third term. Nobody ever in Omaha history has had a third term as mayor. She did some questions later, and her foot is still on the gas pedal. She's not going to take it easy over these next 5 weeks just because she has this big lead. She says it's just not in her personality. And going into some of her speech, which she gave maybe 20 minutes ago or so, she did mention she was a little shocked at just how high that number got.
Well, wow. What results did we get tonight? I hope we would do well tonight, but I did not suspect such a strong vote of confidence in our work and in Omaha's future. So thank you, every one of you.
Now, she did say she had that 60% number in her head, but when I talked to her just a week ago, she was not saying that's a number she wanted to get to by any means. She just wanted to simply advance then. And she did take another question on a city council race, asking about a tight one over in West Omaha if she would help the Republican candidate. She, gave some vague answers and then said, quite frankly, I haven't even really been paying attention to the city council tonight. She's just been zoned in on the mayor's race, and that's a race she's going to be keyed into for the next 5 weeks as we head to the May general election. Reporting in Omaha, John Kipper, 3 News Now.
All right, thanks, John. And we're still waiting on all the ballots to be counted, but with the results we have so far, it looks like RJ Neary will be taking second place in this primary race. Now, the latest result shows he has around 10,000 votes, which is 16% of the total so far, and about 3,000 more than Jasmine Harris, who is placing third at this point. Now, Neary says he's looking forward to reaching more voters over the next 5 weeks and feels the city is ready for the change he says he can bring.
There's really a lot of people who don't want to see politicians just worrying about the next election and trying to play it safe. They want somebody to move our city forward and solve these problems.
Now, this is a nonpartisan race, but Neary and the other Democratic candidates will be having a unity event tomorrow. Neary says he wants to work with the other candidates to beat Stothert in May. Now let's now go to 3 News Now. Aaron Sanderford, who has been covering politics in Omaha for years. What do you think about the mayoral race, Aaron? Are you surprised the mayor advanced to the general election with such a high lead?
Hi, Maya. No, the one thing that I see is that Jean Stothert tonight didn't just win. She collected more votes than all of her Democratic opponents combined in a city where Democrats outnumber Republicans by about 24,000 voters. That sends a pretty powerful message to the survivor of this second place push by RJ Neary. He's going to have his work cut out for him to not only just consolidate the Democrats who maybe didn't want to support his campaign, but also to try to re-attract some of those Democrats who've been supporting Stothert.
All right, thank you, Aaron. And voters weighed in on 7 city council races. Let's take a look at those numbers. In District 1, the race between Pete Festerson, who is wanting to keep his current seat in north central Omaha, is going against Paul Anderson, Sarah Johnson, and Taisha Kosmicki. Right now, Festerson is leading with 59% of the votes. And on to District 2, North Omaha, 5 people challenging incumbent Ben Gray. Right now, he's taking the lead with 43% of the vote. Jonathan Lathan follows with 22%, Juanita Johnson with 20%. Then it's David Mitchell, Stephen Abram, and Cornelius Williams. And in District 3, which covers the Midtown area, no incumbent in the race because Council President Chris Jerem is not running for re-election after serving 3 terms. Right now, Danny Begley is taking the lead, followed by Cammie Watkins. Both are way ahead of the other candidates, Jen Bauer and Gilbert Ayala. And looking at Southeast Omaha now, in District 4, incumbent Vinnie Palermo, which is South Omaha, has 49% of the vote and will likely go on to the general election without a problem. The question is, who will be joining him? Becky Barrientos Patlin follows Palermo with 22%, followed by Ben Cass with 14%, and then Sarah Smolin. Both of them have a few hundred votes each. And the Southwest Omaha's District 5 race is a crowded field and a close one. Remember, this is the one where the City Council appointed Colleen Brennan last year to fill the vacancy after Rich Pauls moved on to the Nebraska legislature. Tonight, Patrick Leahy, Don Rowe, Kathleen Kauth are ahead of Brennan. And in the West Omaha District 6 race, Naomi Hathaway is challenging incumbent Brinker Harding. Harding has 64% of the vote, and both will move on to the general election. And in Northwest Omaha's District 7 race, it's made up of incumbent City Council member Amy Melton and Sarah Cowan. Now, this is a tight one. They brought in more than 5,000 votes each. Both will move on to the general election. Let's check in again with 3 News Now, Aaron Sanderford. But now let's discuss the City Council races. And Aaron, we have several incumbent council people running. Do any of these results surprise you?
The Southwest Omaha race involving Colleen Brennan, who was appointed to serve out the remainder of Rich Paul's term. I did expect her to compete a little bit more closely than she did. It looks very much like she is done, and that Republican Don Rowe and either Democrat Patrick Leahy or Republican Kathleen Kauth will be the contestants in Southwest Omaha, which, you know, you could have a situation where in a race where Democrats could compete, they might not have a candidate on the ballot in the general election. The other one that's really interesting is that Northwest Omaha race with Amy Melton and Sarah Cowan. You're seeing the strong election day vote help Amy Melton pull away a little bit, the incumbent Republican. But you see Sarah Cowan making enough of a push that that's a race that could be perhaps the closest of the general election.
All right, thanks, Aaron. And as final results continue to come in and races are called, we'll have the latest information on our website, 3newsnow.com. And be sure to tune in to our on-air coverage tomorrow. 3 News Now this morning starts at 4:30.